Good afternoon and welcome to this week's episode of Rachel Gaffney's Real Ireland from Dallas, Texas. We're here in the Lincoln Center and it is Wednesday, April the 10th. Beautiful day outside. Very yellow, I noticed on the way in this morning in the studios.
It's a bit weird, yeah.
Have you noticed it, Anna?
Yeah, it's been so grey. Anything that happens, I'm like, I can't tell anymore.
You see the pollen on your, I mean, I don't know about you, but the pollen, everybody I noticed in the office, you know,
yes.
Or from making phone calls with people here in Dallas, you can tell it's...
Oh, that's the first thing that
the
comes in
voices are
conversation,
going, right?
insane,
you know,
yes.
how your allergies seems to be the standard greeting here in Dallas at this time of the year, doesn't it?
It's not like, how's the weather? It's like, oh, these
how are your allergies? Yeah. So, you know, when you are finding it hard and you need to breathe properly and you think, God, I wish I could breathe better. Do you know where you need to go to breathe a lot better?
Where?
How about Ireland?
I love that segue. I did not see it coming, I promise.
Think you need to go to Ireland and you need to hop on a plane and get over there as quickly as you can. And to do that, this is the perfect segue to introduce today's topic and guest. From American Airlines, we have Scott Sirianni.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did.
Oh, my gosh. So we have an Italian and an Irish woman here in the studio.
And a Portuguese in the control room.
And a Portuguese, the control room. Okay, so hopefully now we'll all stay well behaved because between us all, that's emotional, you know,
yes,
Latin bloods and everything running through the veins here. So we got to be careful. We have to keep this PG, right?
That's right.
No, seriously, we are so thrilled to have you here. And I know that a lot of people are very excited, as am I. So for anybody watching or listening, as I mentioned, I live in Dallas and I've been living here since 1996. And I go back to Ireland all the time. I do fly with American, but go around via different airports to get to Ireland. And we are beyond thrilled that American are leading the charge and they are launching their inaugural flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Dublin on June the 6th.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. You know, we've been serving Ireland since 2003.
That long?
So it's been a long time, but we're excited to be able to bring direct service between Dallas and Dublin, and that kicks off on the 6th, and we're really excited to see that come.
Oh my gosh, so it starts on the 6th. Now, how long will this flight run for now initially?
It's going to the end of September 28th to be exact. So
okay.
It'll be a seasonal market at first, but certainly hope to see that return and potentially extend for a longer period of time.
So in other words, the more that people like myself and you guys book your flights, direct flights, it kind of tells them that we need them, so it's all predetermined, isn't it? Like the more the demand, and so
correct. We need the demand. So
we absolutely do.
Success will ensure that this stays around, and then we'd love to see it.
And you might think, okay, why are we here to talk about a flight? I mean, what is there to talk about in 30 minutes or 25 minutes about getting on a plane and going over? Well, actually, there's a lot. And there's a lot involved, hopefully, in today's show, which is not least of all, you've got different travellers. You've got those of you watching, like myself, sometimes who are a leisure traveller. You've got the business traveller. And I think we have it covered well today to really cover both topics. But what I'd like to do is start off with something very basic first. And we're going to show a picture, an image of a map of Ireland, which we have here for you guys up on the screen. And it outlines the airports. Now, I want to talk about the fact that Ireland Ireland has 4 international airports. It's got other airports. So people in Ireland who are telling me there's one in Kerry, and one in Knock. I know that. I know there are other airports. But for the purpose of today, we're talking about international. And we're specifically talking about US to Ireland. So yes, there are some flights from Madrid to another local airport in Ireland. And those are for sure available. But for the purpose of today, we're just going to talk about travelling from the United States to Ireland. And indeed, for those people in other parts of the world, which Scott will address, which is the...
we have flights between Chicago, Philadelphia, Charlotte, and obviously now Dallas. So 4 different cities within the U.S. so that you can get over to Ireland at various times of the year. So during the peak season, we are the largest carrier to between the U.S. and Ireland. So fantastic.
Do you have any figures? Like how many people do you think traveled in the last year or two? Or
gosh, I wish I knew, but obviously a lot. When you think about how many seats are on an airplane every day, every 5 days, 7 days a week. It's a lot of people.
Well, and you mentioned to me earlier on, which is what I was trying to get to, is with the different airports. So if you're not able to come from, Dallas to Dublin or through Philly, but you could be someone watching right now from Melbourne or from a different part of the world, and you explain something to me, and I think people would love to hear a little bit more. Do you mind explaining a little bit about the One World Alliance?
American Airlines is one of the founding partners of the One World Alliance, and really what that is a group of airlines that are in alliance together to allow to extend our individual networks globally. So if someone in Melbourne theoretically could get on an airplane on Qantas and fly to Perth, and from Perth go to London, and then connect on British Airways or Aer Lingus, and then onward to Ireland, and all within one itinerary, one check-in process, and have all the bags and everything seamlessly extend from partner to partner. And that's really the benefit of what the Alliance does to travelers. So you can take advantage of your mileage benefits as well as elite benefits if you have that, if you're a frequent traveler. So really it just it brings a host of benefits to the traveler from where they start, whether it's in Oceania or in Asia or in Europe or the US or even Latin America. We have partners in every part of the world. So really it allows you to seamlessly connect globally and kind of bring the world to your doorstep, which is exciting.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this is really good information. So let's tailor back to here a little bit biased, because in Dallas Fort Worth, for those of you watching or listening in Ireland, this is actually the hub for American Airlines, correct?
It is. We're the largest hub, and we've been growing. We're this summer going to surpass 900 daily departures, which will be the most we've ever done through Dallas. So that's a huge deal. In terms of destinations, it's one of the largest in the U.S. So certainly our largest hub out of Dallas, and certainly in the scope of all the major airports in the U.S., it's among the top. So it's exciting to be able to have that designation here in Dallas. On top of the fact that Dallas was just named one of the top airports in the world. So it's nice to be able to have that as well.
Well, I just gotta go for my tidbit. So my husband actually works for American Airlines, and that's the reason why I'm in Dallas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's how you ended up here?
Yeah, he moved here. So
I didn't know that. And then also, I didn't know that. I was reading this earlier on. I thought, gosh, this is an interesting tidbit. It's the 4th largest airport in the world, DFW.
It is. It's one of the biggest.
And again, for anybody watching or listening who isn't from here, because I don't always want to be talking about, for the people in Dallas who know this, but when I'm talking to people in Ireland, I was trying to give them an idea of how big. So not just for people going from Dallas to Ireland, but also for people in Ireland that might think about coming to Texas for work or vacation or whatever. The sheer size of this airport, if you think about it, DFW Airport is larger than the size of Manhattan Island.
What?
Yeah.
Well, everything is big in Texas.
Yeah, we love that, don't we?
Yeah.
I think I love that now as well. It says it is the 12th largest airport in the world and the 4th largest in the US. So that'll give you an idea of it packs a mighty punch. So let's go back to the flight. Let's go back to, we're going from Dallas, we're going to Ireland, and you start off and it'll be from Terminal D, correct?
Correct.
Now, we also know, in Terminal D, what have you got opening up hopefully in May?
Well, we've got, as part of the growth and the expansion of the Dallas for American, we have invested millions into the traveler experience. One of the ways that will be evident to travelers, especially on the Dublin flight, will be the launch of the newest flagship lounge in the American network, which will be in Dallas, which to have a brand new flagship lounge in our home-based Dallas airport will be fantastic, and hopefully among the best flagship lounges we have in the network. So what that means for our business class and elite travelers will be a fantastic dining and.
What would they expect? I was going to ask, if you're going in there now, our business class passengers, or like a lot of my clients who are corporates and that, and they want to go in there, because to segue into that, I want to mention that the flight from Dallas, by the way, to Dublin is late at night. So it's at 11:05 p.m., which hold your horses. It's a great time. I'm going to talk about the flights later and the benefits. But so go back to Scott, when you're leaving DFW that time of night, which is a lonely time sometimes in an airport, but if you're going into Terminal D, into your flagship lounge,
it's going to be a fantastic time, because you can go into the flagship lounge and experience a nice meal, and have a glass of champagne or wine, or obviously a drink of your choosing, and relax in a very beautiful lounge that's state of the art, that allows you to relax before you depart on your late flight. So what's unique and what's really great about that is you can have a meal. You can basically get yourself ready to rest on the flight if you so choose, with a late departure like that, and with our great business class seat that turns into a lie flat bed. You can obviously get the meal portion of your flight out of the way on the ground, and just be able to get on board. And once you take off, you can ready yourself for a nice sleep, and essentially wake up, have a little breakfast, and you're arriving in Dublin. So that's a fantastic way to fly.
Oh, well, it really is, because I'm looking at the arrival, and the arrival time in Dublin is around 1:05. But what I'm particularly want to tell you guys, for my experience with my clients all the time, when you come from Dublin to the United States, typically anywhere in the US, your flight is kind of early in the morning. So it could be 8 o'clock, it could be 9 o'clock, it could be 10. And you might think, well, that's not very early, but you have to be there at least 2 hours beforehand. And I actually tell people for Dublin, especially in peak season, 3 hours. If you're going on the Dublin to Dallas Fort Worth route, your flight departs at 3:45 p.m., which means you get to enjoy your last night in Dublin, so you can go out and have your dinner and a good time. You still get to have your breakfast in the hotel, do a last minute bit of shopping or whatever, bit of sightseeing, and still leave time to get to the airport, to get checked in, and not feel that rush that I do at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is not fun, right? It's not. So and the other thing, we're going to show a little video, which I think is great. So this is very unique, and this is something that's unique to Ireland, and I think Canada have it, are the only other two places, and this is really important for you guys to know this. In Ireland, we have pre-clearing, TSA pre-clearing, which is Customs and Immigration, and it goes from Dublin, and it goes from Shannon Airport. So when you get to either of those airports before you return to the US, you go through security, you check your you check your bags, you go through security, you do all those things. But it's important to know that Dublin Airport's a very big airport. So once you've gone through duty free, it's still a good 20-minute walk to Customs and Immigration and everything. And you're now on basically American soil, American territory. It's the TSA guys from the United States. It's official US territory you're in, and you go by their rules, not Irish rules anymore, and you go through your thing. But when you get off the plane in the United States, you get off the plane. It's great. You don't
you're arriving like a domestic passenger, which is unique. So you're not having to stand in the queues on arrival to the US. You can really just go right out the door, as you said, and
so nice.
And you save a lot of time on the when you're truly ready to just get home or to start your vacation.
And let's not to say that you don't stand in a queue in Dublin, you do, but the thing is, there's a big difference, because after a long haul flight, it's the last thing you want to do. At least you're getting it all out of the way. If you're going to be do you ever notice they should have music in these airports now? I take off my belt and my shoes and my clothes so many times, I feel like I'm in a club. Thinking, really, when I go through the security, I remember saying it to a guy in Dublin Airport, I wouldn't ever say it to an American agent, but I did say it to a guy in Dublin. I said, listen, I normally don't undress like this without music. And he just started laughing, and we had a great time.
I'll say this: you gotta go prepared, because sometimes if you're in a hurry, do not take your layers and your bling blings, because my God, it's gonna be so much hurrying, throwing everything out on the air. Oh my gosh!
I know. So I thought maybe we'd show this little video,
yes.
And it shows the pre-S clearing in Dublin Airport, but it also shows the airport lounge at the other end. So I'll say roll it there, Anna, and here we go. Welcome to Ireland. There it is.
The only European capital city with US pre-clearance. And now a lounge for when you've cleared US pre-clearance. Introducing 51st and Green. An innovation in transatlantic travel by Dublin Airport for when you've passed through the US pre-clearance process. Inspired by Ireland's magical World Heritage Site Newgrange, where the morning sun floods in, creating a chamber of light. At 51st and Green, you can now work in comfort right by the gates. Enjoy local Irish produce with an American twist. Relax, chat and enjoy the planes. Or join in the games. So you're ready and rested for your trip. Enjoying a memorable last few minutes of Irish hospitality and a welcome taste of American service ahead. At the closest airport lounge to an active runway anywhere. Have a nicer day at 51st and Green.
Right.
That looks delightful.
Yeah, but you got at least, a little bit of a view of what it looks like at 51st and Green there, that and the TSA pre-clearing and
right.
That whole thing. So so you got Terminal D in DFW Airport with their brand new flagship lounge in May, you said?
Correct. We're scheduled to open in May.
When you say scheduled, is it still looking good?
It looks good. It's going to happen.
Don't you love it when things like that come together? And what about the aircraft? Is it a newer one, an older one?
We fly the 787-9. The Dreamliner is one of our newest entrants
Dreamliner.
to the fleet.
Dreamliner, I like that.
I like that name too. I never thought I liked the name of an airplane, but might have to have a look at that plane in a minute. Should we show people what this?
Do you want to roll the footage?
Roll it there,
I'll
Anna, and maybe Scott can give us if there's anything. You roll it there. I don't think he's going to have to point out the seats to people. He might actually.
So that's our 787 Dreamliner, and what's unique about this aircraft, beyond the fact that it's one of the newest in the fleet, it's actually composite versus aluminum fuselage. So some of the benefits that you see is the fact that it's got a lower cabin altitude, so it's much more comfortable. More moisture in the air. As you can see here, the seats in business class, and there are 30 of these seats with all aisle access. They do recline to a full flat bed,
nice.
A multitude of positions, so you can really find a comfort and a nice way to rest or work or eat or whatever you want to do as you spend your time on the flight. Walk-up bar. Really, the modern amenities that you find on these newer aircraft are fantastic. It really drives an elevated experience for the business class passenger on this flight. So, transitioning here to our main cabin. What's fantastic about this aircraft is not only do the benefits that the business class passengers enjoy, like your own screen, your own power ports, USB connections, all that.
We see them right here now,
all of that is also found at every seat of the coach cabin.
Dimmable windows? Electrical dim.
I love that. It's so good, yes.
It's fantastic. So, it's a great ambiance, the ability to adjust the cabin lighting based on the time of the flight. So when you're departing, it might have a sunset theme. At nighttime where it's very dark, and then as you're arriving, it's the lighting can adjust to kind of help you with that transition and hopefully reduce some of that jet lag as you change time zone. So it's a fantastic aircraft. People really seem to enjoy it, so we're thrilled to be able to serve it here on this upcoming Dublin flight.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. So Anna.
Yes.
Did you say to me you had a question, perhaps?
I did. I do not. Someone in the comments has a question. Let me find that. So, okay.
Oh, that's okay.
So, Thomas is asking if will AA have a year-round service from 2020? Please say yes.
I wish I could come on and announce that. As of right now,
okay.
It's the seasonal service from June through September, but certainly with a successful flight, which I know it will be, hopefully we'll be able to return it next year and hopefully extend that season.
And then besides Dublin, so passengers can also go into Shannon Airport.
Correct. We also have seasonal service from Philadelphia to Shannon. So that is another option, as well as, like I said, Chicago, Charlotte, and Philadelphia also serves Dublin. So at various points in the year, you have up to
I assume you go
four.
to New York too, though, don't you?
Not out of New York.
Oh, sorry.
At this time. Philadelphia is primarily the main exit point of the U.S. for American. While we do serve New York to London and a few other destinations, but primarily Philadelphia is a lot of our transatlantic flying at this point.
People are asking, I think probably I'll know the answer for this because it looks like a new aircraft, but someone's asking if there's premium economy.
Oh,
yes,
actually, that's a great question.
There is premium economy, and thank you for pointing out the fact that it was a slightly older video, and we have not yet added premium economy to that video. But yes, we do have 21 premium economy seats in that aircraft. So it's a 232 thing, and it's a great product in itself. Obviously, smack dab in between what you expect in business and what you expect in economy. What's fantastic with how we've effectively partitioned the aircraft is we meet the needs of the travelers how they want to experience Americans. So whether it be coach and economy, the premium economy cabin, which is an elevated experience in terms of footrests and amenity kits, bedding, elevated food and beverage.
Is the space in the seat virtually the same in premium economy as it is in economy? No,
it's much larger. I like to describe it as similar to what you would experience on domestic first class.
Okay.
So it's a much larger seat, larger recline. You have that footrest, so it really allows you to get additional space and have more space to yourself, quite frankly.
Yeah, okay. I can chip in because I tried those.
I did?
Premium economy, yes. And it makes the difference. Having just the footrest is great. Yeah, and the food is amazing, yes.
Oh, it is?
Definitely go for it.
I was going to say, I'll let you know because I'm going next month, but I'm going Dallas to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Dublin. So not there yet. I have to. June 6th is the new direct flight. So June 6th, everybody, till September the 28th. But and I also wanted to mention, so for people who are going to Ireland, maybe, have you got that map again?
Yes. There we go.
Now, if you look at Dublin Airport there on the East Coast, it mentioned in the video, they mentioned about the 51st and Green inspired by Newgrange. So Newgrange is 30 minutes north of Dublin. So it's in County Meath. And this is somewhere that people really need to visit. So if you're flying over to Dublin and you're looking for things to do, because, and actually I just thought of this now, and this is the beauty of live. Oh. You know, I just had a thought. They don't come very often. But I want to give you a little tip. If you're flying to Dublin and you're going over for a week, I'm not talking now to the corporate because they have a very strict agenda. They know where they want to be, what they want to do, and they tell me and all that. But if you're going on a vacation and you're planning your trip, whether it's through me or yourself or anybody else, my suggestion is when you get to Dublin, if you can stomach and everything, get out of there as quickly as possible. And what I mean by get out of there as quickly as possible, I don't mean get out of Dublin, it's a terrible place. I mean, go out of Dublin, go somewhere else in the country, and then work your way back.
Yes.
So go to the furthest point first. I know it might be a drive, but go to the furthest point first. And if you go to the furthest point, so let's say you head across to Ashford Castle in County. Have you been over there yet to Ashford Castle?
Not yet.
Or Dromoland Castle? Oh, you got to go visit these. We got to get you over to these.
I'm waiting for your invite now.
Are you? Well, I'll invite you to the castle if you invite me on your plane. How's that? But if you go to these places first, far away, because it's not too bad if you do a 3.5 hour drive, you get over there, do your touring and work and design your itinerary so that you end up in Dublin in the last 2 days or the last night or the last 2 nights of your trip, and then you are relaxed enough to get on that flight back to Dallas. Because I think what some people do is they go to Dublin, they spend a few days in Dublin, and it isn't until they've booked it and done this, they go over there and realise, oh, and now we're going somewhere else. and I've got to drive all the way back up there very early in the morning for my flight or whatever. So some of those little things for planning are very important. So Newgrange is in County Meath, and that's showed there in the airport, and that's just a little north of there. So that's another place that you can and visit for sure. So do you have any more comments on that, Anna?
Well, let me check. People are saying that they love the lounge, so they're looking forward to it.
The new lounge? Or the one in Dublin?
Yes. Clearly, you got to go there to check it out.
Well, the one in Dublin as well,
yeah.
I think that one you have to be, it's not a regular Admirals Club, it's because it's not in America. So the one in Dublin, let's make sure we get this, the accuracy on this one for people watching. I want to make sure I don't misinform you. So you've got the flagship lounge that Scott is referring to.
It's an American Airlines product that's primarily in U.S. hubs and some of our other key cities in the other parts of the world, but primarily it's an American product. And as you were going to say, that Dublin lounge is a privately owned lounge that we're obviously allowing our business class and One World Elite passengers access to while they're traveling through Dublin. So.
Okay.
We have a couple of questions regarding price. Someone says that they waited 9 years and timings are perfect, but they're talking about what about the price?
What about it?
Like what?
They want to know what the average price is?
Yeah.
Well, I know that I looked at, do you mind if I answer?
Sure, go ahead.
Just
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, okay. Well, just because I've been looking and stuff, and I don't want people to balk at this or anything, but it's really, as far as prices are concerned anymore, but $1,400 was the flight that I could get in September from Dallas to Dublin. I pay $1,200 to go via Philly as it is. Or around the houses. And of course, it depends on how last minute you are. It's like everything else, isn't it?
Exactly. Pricing is variable. It depends on how you want to travel and how you want to book your travel. Mm-hmm. Pricing is a interesting animal in itself. It's interesting to see how it unfolds as time of departure comes closer and where prices are. Sometimes they're more expensive. Sometimes if the flight is more open, you'll find great deals to be had.
And then also, people, if you don't have one, and I'm not getting paid or sponsored to say this, I promise you, but your American Airlines credit card, use your American Airlines credit cards. If you know you're going to be going in a few months, start using it. Pay your electricity bills with it. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Get your points. Maybe you might have enough points and you can plan, in time, But, and I said to somebody this morning, and they said they never knew this about flights when they're like, oh, this airline charges me a fortune. I don't think people understand as well that some of the pricing, it's not just the airline, the city taxes, the landing taxes can be really high in certain airports. Isn't that true?
Exactly. Taxes and fees are always part of the equation. If you kind of see the details as you're booking through the flight, it'll show you what you're paying as a fare and then what you're paying for taxes. So that's always something that varies from city to city and what part of the world you are is what kind of taxes get added to the fare and the total price of the ticket.
Yeah, I know that France and England have really high
Heathrow is a very high landing because I always see it in the fare. So sometimes flying into Dublin is. My husband was going to England last year with my son. They were going to London, but they went to the American. But they went through Dublin, stayed there for a night, and went on to England. And there are ways of doing it. There's more than one way to skin a cat or whatever. The other thing I was going to ask about was, or say, and I wrote this down when I saw it on the thing, was about the meals. If you're somebody like me who, unfortunately now, it's not a fad, it's not a craze. I have to go gluten-free. It's medical. It's not, because I want to. And I know that with American, when I book my flight as well, they do remind you if you've got a special meal request. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a plane and I hear the poor flight attendant getting it in the ear. They didn't order it. You need to order. Let them know. And I think it says when you book on your thing, there's a time frame if you have a special meal request.
Yeah, I think it's leading up to
two
about
or 3 days
2 or 3 days prior to departure.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think 24 hours at a max before departure is when it's too late. But
yes,
the earlier the better.
The earlier the better.
Always the rule.
Okay.
When you need special services and things like that.
And trust me, I forgot to do it one year, and I ended up going around the houses. I had to go through and it was tough. When you have a food allergy, it can be tough. So if you have a special meal request, just call them and tell them, but make sure you do it because you're responsible. They don't know what our allergies are. They're not mind readers.
So Rachel, we're actually
Are we coming towards
the end of the show?
What?
Yes.
Already?
It's crazy. I know.
Oh my gosh. And I'm dying to hear, I'd love to know if anybody's actually booked that direct flight yet. If anybody on Facebook, whether they're on with us now live or on Twitter, or they'll be on LinkedIn or YouTube later. I'm looking forward to hearing feedback from people if there's a requirement from Dallas, or indeed I would imagine elsewhere in Texas. You know, I mean, this is a big metroplex. I mean, you're going out to Granbury and Lancaster and all these places. They need to come in, or if people are booking their flights, or are they about to book one?
Rachel, people haven't said anything, but we forgot to talk about the socks.
Oh, that's very important. Can we get a close-up? Look at this. Look at Scott's socks.
So Scott brought his socks. Let me zoom this live. Look at that. I'm sorry for the kind of
he's got his shamrocks on.
Look at that. He did make sure that he did come ready for the episode. Sorry, I had to mention this.
I think that's fantastic, and I'm very impressed. And also, just before I finish, I want to say I'm looking at the lovely banner behind him. If you guys, I don't know if you can see it at all.
Not really, just a little bit.
But
he
can
see the landscape.
Yeah, they have this lovely, American Airlines have this lovely banner that they use now, and it says direct flight from Dallas, Fort Worth to Dublin. And I happened to notice a photograph on social media the other day, Scott, from a friend of mine in Ireland, in Dublin. And she took a photo. She was on O'Connell Street. And we have a lot of double-decker buses still. You know, public transport is huge. And what was going in the background? The bus had a huge banner of advertising American Airlines going to Dallas.
Fantastic.
And it was just, I thought, what a shot. She didn't realise it, but it was O'Connell Street, the main street, drag, if you like, in Dublin. And in the background, and I meant to catch it and send it to you because I thought, oh, that's so cool to see that.
That's fantastic.
Because we want people to come over here too, don't we?
We do, absolutely.
You know, obviously if you're going over, you have to come back, but we want people over there too. Come on over here, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, come visit.
Come enjoy our allergy season. Maybe that's why they scheduled it out of allergy season. Maybe that's what you did. You were smart. You scheduled it in the heat of Texas. That's what you did.
Oh my God.
The height of Texas heat. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough. And obviously, AA.com is where you go to book your flights.
Absolutely. AA.com will get you set up and start your journey.
And we will say this one thing, because I think it's important. If you're going to be booking a very complicated flight with multi-cities, and yes, there's the multi-city option on the site and everything, but it's not a huge fee if you're okay with it. If you want this handled really well, and you are somebody that's going to Milan, and then you're going to Edinburgh, and then you want to go to Dublin, picking up the phone is still a good thing to make sure maybe you haven't made a mistake like that.
It's really great to be able to have someone that understands how the flights work, and being able to put the ideal itinerary together is always an option. It's really we want to offer the needs of the travelers that are trying to book their next adventure or business trip. So if it's very easy, obviously AA.com is a great way to go.
Okay.
You pick up the phone, use AA reservation agents or your nearest travel agent.
Okay then. So thank you very much, Scott Sirianni, for being our guest today from American Airlines. And we wish American Airlines all the success in the world for safe and successful flights from Dallas-Fort Worth to Dublin, Ireland on June the 6th. And until next week, when we will be visiting County Cavan and meeting my guest, Chef Nevin Maguire from Macneen House. And
he was actually watching today.
Nevin was?
Yes.
Oh, I wish I'd known. I could have given him a shout out. Hopefully he still is, because we'll have Nevin on next week.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, we need Scott to go visit there. That's one of the best restaurants in Ireland. So until next week, Slán Leat.